AEW All In this weekend at Wembley Stadium. We have all previews and predictions for you.
And in WWE, how soon are we going to see Roman Reigns and Jacob Fatu face to face?
It's time to roll around the ring. All right, AEW All In London, second straight year, Wembley Stadium, which, by the way, they announced they're going to Arlington, Texas with All In next year.
All In on Texas.
Yeah, I like it. I like moving the show. They're going back to Wembley in 2026. It's probably because AEW is not at the level of, being able to get stadium after stadium anywhere.
I'll say that. You're going to get a lot of people mad at you.
It is what it is, and it's fine. You got to lock on Wembley. Wembley's an awesome venue for a big show like that.
Yes.
But the look of moving All In around, especially because of the way they flow with the name, right? All In London, All In Texas, change the look. Like having a different venue, different city, different wherever, that would be a good look for All In. They're going back to Wembley, but I like it at Texas next year.
Yeah, no, I like it, shaking up the locations.
But we're in Wembley Stadium, second straight year this weekend, the main event. Swerve, Strickland, Bryan Danielson, world title on the line. We talked about it a little bit last week. Bryan Danielson making it a career versus title match. Danielson not re-signing with AEW, not a new contract at least, but could potentially still be a part-time wrestler. So again, this is a title match. It's not just are you retiring or not. Do you think AEW could afford to have, because we've seen it in the past, Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns, and that was a whole thing, Goldberg, part-time champion. Do you think AEW could afford to have a part-time champion in Bryan Danielson?
Could they? Yes. Should they? Probably not.
Yeah.
I wouldn't. If I'm booking, I have the pen, I'm not going that route.
Yeah, no, I think that is like a thing where it's like, okay, we haven't seen it in a minute. And one thing I'll credit AEW, we've never seen it in AEW. Right? Everyone who's ever had that world title, they were there just about every week, and they were a full-time. It wasn't just a nostalgia act. Whoever had the title, they were a full-time wrestler. I will say AEW could probably afford and survive with a part-time champion. And I think it goes back to kind of something else that we talked about last week, and that is everybody in AEW is holding a title.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
some people are holding two.
Yeah, ROH, MLW, AAA, AEW titles. Like, and AEW themselves have trios and tag teams and a bunch of singles and all that. The amount of gold on the show, title name aside, the amount of gold on the show, that would allow them to survive with a world champion who isn't there every week. Right? Now, the little caveat for this specific story is, all right, Bryan Danielson said he's retiring. Why are we giving him a title, right? It's not even just a part-time thing. Like, he had a whole promo where it's like, I want to go home to my family.
Right.
I need to be done doing this, right?
It's almost like, why are you even in this match?
Why are you even in the match?
You already sound uninterested here.
Right. And then that's where it's like, that is the one thing where it's like, I love the match. Danielson and Swerve are going to have an awesome match.
Yes.
I had a feeling when he had talked about it last year, about, one final run, that this would be his final match. Maybe don't put a title involved. Maybe just let us enjoy this match, whoever it was with, right? Non-title or not. Just let us enjoy it being Danielson's final match. You put the title in it, and it's almost just like in the way.
Well, do you think that maybe this is AEW, like the booking way, or Tony Khan's way of trying to further solidify Swerve's being the champion, being the guy, or maybe Bryan Danielson's way of like assisting in that?
Right.
Of, I'm going to give you like a great match, but you're going to beat me in the end. So
yeah, and I think if that's the route they go, it's an awesome way to, continue to put Swerve over. But I think I would rather watch Danielson's match separately, at least for his final match, and just enjoy it and appreciate it for who Bryan Danielson is. I mean, and they are really playing this up as if it's like his final, that video package on Dynamite with Good Riddance playing, which...
It almost makes you kind of wonder, though.
Are they pushing it too hard?
Yeah, because sometimes when they go too all in, see what
I
did?
Was good.
I did the thing.
That was good.
Okay.
I like it.
It took me a while, but I
got there.
But no, they really, like, they're going all in. They're really, like, pushing that narrative. And to me, it's almost like, I almost kind of think you have to give it to him now if you're gonna do it that much, because to just have, at this point, it's like, oh, so then we already know he's gonna lose.
Right. And I think that's where I'm like, okay, this is where I don't want the title involved. Because I'd rather just appreciate it for what it is, because it was a very emotional video to watch. We love Danielson, friend of the show.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So it's like, I'd rather just appreciate it for what it is, and rather than thinking behind the scenes like, okay, are you over pushing it to make us assume he's losing, just to swerve us, or are you just like telegraphing that, hey, this is how it's going to go?
Right. And I've also kind of read, it's not a big thing going on, but some people are putting the idea of, well, he wins it, then he vacates it. Great. Why are we doing that to Swerve, though?
No. No, you don't do
That's
that.
like probably the least logical thing, just to have him be like, well, he's the AEW World Champion.
Right.
At the expense of this run that Swerve's on, I don't think that's smart.
Especially the way they've done Swerve, and don't get me wrong, Swerve's had a good run, but it's kind of been start and stop, which is weird to say for a champion.
Right, which is why I more so feel he needs to win this match.
Right. And that's where it's like, okay, maybe don't have Danielson bring up the career thing beforehand. Don't put that stipulation in if you wanted to put Swerve over here. Maybe just have Swerve go over Danielson, and then right after All In, he announces, hey, I'm done. That was it for me, kind of thing. Yeah. It's just, again, it's almost like the title's in the way. It's kind of like in WWE where it's like, okay, Roman Rock. No one wanted that at last year's WrestleMania, at least for the title, right?
Right.
Because we just want to appreciate Roman Rock one-on-one. The title gets in the way because we don't want Roman to hang on to this forever, and we don't want Rock to be a part-time champion.
Well,
so
there
now
was
the
the whole
title's
Cody
just in the way.
factor, too, for this past WrestleMania.
Exactly.
Now, though, you can, pivoting over to that just for a moment, now it's almost a thing because of what Rock's character is, the final boss character, kind of like running the whole show. It actually would make a lot of sense for him to, since he calls all the shots, he could just make himself the champion. Why not? Roman overcomes that. In that scenario, that makes a little more sense than what the scenario in AEW is right now, to have Bryan Danielson win the title.
Right, and that's where it's like the title seems to be in the way of the moment.
Right.
The match is going to be awesome, but Bryan Danielson, I'm not even saying he needs to win in his last match. I am just, and this isn't a Kurt Angle, Baron Corbin situation.
Oh, God.
Right?
No.
But it is a situation
the less
where
we
it's
speak
like,
of that, the better.
Yeah, but it is a situation where it's like, it's sad because I don't want Danielson to win. It's his final match, and I don't want him to win.
That's the part, yeah.
And I only mean it situationally because it's like, I don't want him to be a part-time champion. I've never been for that. When Goldberg did it, when Brock did it, Roman, I've adamantly been against that, right? And I'm going to continue to be against that. And I don't want him to vacate it if that's an idea being put out there either.
I don't like that.
And so it's sad going into Danielson's final match. I'm just like, I don't want you to win.
And because this isn't Ric Flair at Mania 24 with Shawn Michaels.
Right. Which, again, no title involved.
No title involved. For Ric Flair's advanced age at that point, the match was still incredible. Yeah. Because Ric Flair still gave everything he had with that. Shawn Michaels obviously at that point could go. Shawn Michaels now could probably still go.
Sure.
But you knew then going into that match, Ric Flair probably should call it a career here.
Yeah.
Bryan Danielson, though, right now, it's like, okay, he could probably have another year if he wanted, but he doesn't seem to he really wants to. But there's a title involved here.
And that's where it's like, okay, if it was a non-title against Swerve or somebody else, career, threatening
if we were
match,
having
right?
that Ospreay Danielson match that we had a little while back,
right,
and this was what was happening All In,
and that'd be fine.
That'd be a perfect send-off.
Even if Danielson's career was on the line, because if there's no title involved, it's like, okay, I can see him winning here and having another month before he loses
or winning
and
here
retires.
and then just saying, in a couple weeks, I'm going to do my official goodbye.
Right, but that title gets involved, and it's like, no, don't do it.
And because you're balancing, we also don't want to make Swerve seem lesser than in the moment.
So you got Swerve winning here then?
I do.
Yeah, Swerve's got to win here. Bryan Danielson, it's going to be an awesome, and I love it. I love that they did it All In. I love that he's healthy this year for All In.
I'm looking forward to the match, and that's the point. I'm intrigued by it. I'm going to be all in on that match. See, I did it again.
Twice in one show.
Can I drop this mic?
You're good. You're good. Don't break the mic. You mentioned MJF. MJF and Will Ospreay. They're going at it for the American title, international title, whatever you want to call it. It is a very interesting situation. Pac has a title shot at All Out in a couple weeks, right?
You go in and then out.
Yeah. We're keeping up with AEW. They're quick.
You follow what's happening? Okay.
Yeah, so what do you do with whoever loses this match? Because on one hand, without giving your prediction right away, on one hand, you have Ospreay losing a second time to MJF. On the other hand, you have MJF, who just won this title from Ospreay a month ago, barely, dropping it right away.
Right.
What do you do with whoever loses this match?
in a weird way, and I may get pushback on this, and that's fine, but in a weird way, I feel like Ospreay losing this match, he'll be fine. Yeah. I think it will tie in eventually to my prediction. MJF kind of needs to retain that title here for everything you just said. He just won it. And they've basically revamped his character. They tweaked it, even if just for a little bit.
Yeah.
And he's newly minted a heel run now, again, returning to being a heel.
Right.
I don't think you throw that all away in a matter of like 2 months.
Sure.
So Ospreay can go from this, especially if he loses, he'll bounce back and he'll go straight to the world title picture.
Sure.
MJF kind of needs to stay running with what he has going to make his change back to a heel work.
Right. It's sad because being at Wembley All In and the fact that Ospreay already lost once to MJF, it's safer to have MJF win here. Because, like you mentioned, Ospreay can go, and like we mentioned earlier, there's so many different titles that Ospreay can go for in AEW, right?
Pick one.
Yeah, just choose, bro. Just close your eyes and point at the wrestler. I guarantee you they're holding a title.
Not Mercedes Mone.
Other division. So... But that's the thing. Like, there's better ways to make him continue to look important, right, on the show, because instantly, if he's in the title picture, he's looking important. Yeah. Where whether you put him in a tag team, he still has his relationship with Kyle Fletcher. I'm not saying go that route. I'm just saying if he loses here, you have to take him out of this story. Has to, right?
Yeah, you can't let him drag in this. And the important thing is the fans are not going to leave him.
No,
if he loses this match.
And that's where it was crazy to me again, and where I've said in the past, this feels like a lose-lose, that we got the classic that we got on Dynamite, a clean finish, MJF winning. It's like, what do you do here? Because it does look, I don't know, Ospreay feels like the biggest face on AEW right now, the babyface, right?
I would say so, yeah.
So comparatively speaking, in 2005, 2006, you got John Cena losing twice in one story, back to back, with a title involved.
Not in Vince's booking.
That's right. And it's like, again, he who shall not be named, but it's you
got to also think in that scenario, there's a lot of 50-50 booking in WWE that they kind of gotten away from, which I appreciate.
Right.
But steering back to AEW, to your point, I don't know if you... Well, see, again, with Ospreay, the fans aren't going to leave him. He'll be fine if he loses. So my prediction is he loses.
Yeah, Ospreay is the biggest face, and I hate to say it, just like with Danielson with the title, I hate to predict that he's going to lose, but it makes no sense for him to win. Ospreay is the exact same situation. I hate to predict that he's going to lose a second time in the same story on a big show like that in London. It makes no sense for us.
Having him win is going to be like, okay, now you've kind of complicated something that could have been an easy out for you. Because now, if he loses, but they insist on going with this feud, another match, because you got like Pac and waiting, so it's like, so what are we doing here? Yeah,
but that automatically takes a lot of steam, and again, it's another name that obviously people aren't just going to say he's irrelevant, MJF.
Right.
That takes a lot of steam out of his whole story because he just came back, he just debuted a new character, and then you instantly take the title off of him. Again, Pac has a title match at the next pay-per-view, so it's like automatically, like Ospreay wins your Ospreay Pac at the next pay-per-view. So at the very least, MJF's going to have to wait until October.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or you're going to play back and forth with the title way too much.
I say you just take this whole American title stuff right through the election year, year of the States,
and that's
just
another
good
reason.
Yeah.
So I agree
with you. Run with it for
MJ,
at least another couple months.
MJF wins here. I hate to say Ospreay, loses for a second time, but it really makes no sense for him to go over.
I agree.
Mercedes Mone, Britt Baker, TBS title. Britt Baker, original OG women's division for AEW. But AEW is really pushing Mercedes, even though, by the way, she's not the women's champion.
No.
Right? Like, there's a whole Toni Storm, Mariah May thing going on.
Yeah.
But they are pushing Mercedes as she is, like, the face of the women's division, marketing AEW, and so on. Who is a better face for this division, Mercedes or Britt?
I'm going to say Mercedes. Okay. And I say it begrudgingly because it is all about presentation. Now, she's not very good on the mic.
Yeah.
But she's solid in the ring, and just from like aesthetically, the presentation's great for her. Yeah. It is for Britt too, but I think that there's more flash and I guess like razzle dazzle, for the lack of a better term, in a Mercedes Mone heel title run. Plus, she has her new hired gun with her, hired hand, and Camille, and then I think that it's just, but like you said, it's not the women's title,
Right.
and that's kind of the division that you want to be focusing on. That should be your big division in AEW.
That's what's crazy about this. This is basically, comparing it to the men's side of things. It's kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
The headline, I know it's Danielson's career, but when you're looking on paper, MJF versus Ospreay is way bigger of a match
That's
than
the
Danielson
story.
and
Yeah,
Swerve,
yeah.
right? And a bigger story. But the world title is on Swerve and MJF. It's the same thing in the women's division. On paper, Toni Storm and Mariah May, that's a better match,
Yeah.
right? Mercedes, but on the story is being pushed as Mercedes and Britt, and the world title is on the whole other story.
Right, but I would argue that with Britt and Mercedes, you have one person who does a lot of the heavier lifting on the microphone and cutting the promos.
Yeah.
With Mariah and Toni Storm, they're both equally really good.
Yeah.
And I feel like that kind of, at least for me as a viewer, kind of carries that story just edge over a little bit.
And that's what, but even you mentioned All In Texas earlier. They had a whole press conference for it.
Yeah.
Mercedes, right there.
Yeah.
Where is your women's champion?
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
Now, Swerve was there. But again, between the two men's stories, MJF and Ospreay are being treated as the bigger match in the
Yeah.
bigger story. But the world title's on a whole other story. In the women's side, Mercedes and Britt being treated as your headline women's match for All in London, your world title's on a complete other women's
Yeah.
match. That's what's crazy about this. And between Britt and Mercedes, they both share similar struggles. Britt has gotten better,
Yes.
but they're both in the ring,
Yeah.
and they're both on the mic. I would take Britt's mic skills over Mercedes.
Yes.
But in terms of what we are seeing right now, it is easier, which they do, it is easier to mask those, struggles on a heel. You mentioned the muscle and Camille.
Very much easier.
right?
Yes.
Her just, if the match isn't great and the fans are booing, you can just play it off as fans are booing a heel,
Yeah.
right? But when Britt is coming off as the babyface and she struggles on the mic or she struggles in the match and people aren't interested, that's not a good look because we're supposed to be cheering her.
Yeah.
So between the two, it makes more sense for Mercedes to be the face. That's why she gets away with it, because she comes out as a heel.
I mean, think of all the best heels in history of wrestling. Some of them were good enough, like your Ric Flairs and the Rocks and those who can cut promos and get the in-ring done. But a lot of them, they flourished because they had a group or they had hired muscle or something to that effect, where it was they may not be the greatest talker in the back, but they can carry that title. The fans want to see them lose. The fans tune in to see them lose. They can't stand them. They got the heat, and that's what Mercedes Moné has.
Right. And until Britt improves even more on both of those, the mic skills, again, have gotten better. Mm-hmm. She needs to stay heel, right? If you want to keep her at the top of the women's division. Yeah. And she deserves to be there for the time she's put in. Again, she was the OG women's division for AEW. She deserves to be there. You got to keep her heel until she can really carry herself as a face. Look at Cody Rhodes.
Yeah.
Cody Rhodes was a heel because he wasn't good on the mic. He was still learning in the ring. He was never cheered for or a babyface until he became the star that he is. Mm-hmm. That's what they want Britt to be. She's not there yet. She needs to stay on the other side of things. Who do you got winning here?
Mercedes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would be shocked, again, Mercedes first All In, first match with Britt.
Especially, the event of this size, this magnitude of the venue they're in.
Right.
I think they want to showcase her winning here.
Yeah, I got Mercedes winning as well. We mentioned the other women's match, Toni Storm and Mariah May. Do you feel like this story has been outshined by Mercedes and Britt?
I feel like it has, but I feel like, at least, again, to me as a viewer, I feel like it's a better story.
Yes.
And because we had a build to it, and because the turn was really good.
Yeah.
Just the visual of that heel turn, no pun intended, it stuck with you. It stays.
Yes.
And it's just, it's been really, really good. And just now the kind of there's little tweaks of the presentation now with Toni Storm that I kind of I would probably change up, but I think it's the better story overall for me.
Yeah, I think fans-wise, people are way more into this.
Yes.
Than Mercedes and Britt, because all the promos, all the video packages, Mariah May has done outstanding work since she's been full heel and against everyone praises Toni Storm, and rightfully so. Her character work all year and to this point has been awesome. Mariah May is right up there with her in this story.
Yeah.
And she has proven that she can, and people knew she was talented before, but in terms of the character work, the heel work, the mic work, everything about it, she can stand on her own at a high level. But the way they're marketing it, that's where Mercedes and Britt has outshined it.
Right.
The fans are like, I am way more into this than that.
Because Mercedes and Britt, it's a good feud, and I'm sure the match will be fine. But just it's kind of almost cookie cutter in the two women who hate each other feud.
Yes.
And you're this, you're that, and I don't like you, and I'm better than you. Okay, We've seen that with the guys and the girls for forever in wrestling. When you have a story that's so involved, there's so much buildup and drama and almost soap opera-esque kind of build to what we have Mariah May and Toni Storm. That's what really it's what's been drawing you into that story's progression for all these months.
Yeah, no, and that's what it is, and it's one of those things too where Mercedes and Britt, they have this match because of the names. Right? These are the most, Mercedes obviously has her run with New Japan. Everyone knows her from WWE, and Britt Baker is the longest running, women's division wrestler in AEW. That is the only reason why we're having this. Where in terms of the other, side of things with Mariah May and Toni Storm, they're not the most recognizable names, but it's the most talented characters, wrestlers, everything story.
If you're a fan of AEW and you've been watching for at least a year, you'll know them.
Yeah.
If you don't really watch, you don't really get the meaning, the impact of this story.
Right. Casual fans, again, this is their WrestleMania. They're going to have more casual fans in the arena and watching at home than any other pay-per-view or show. Casual fans are going to look at Mercedes and be like, yeah, I've seen her. I know her, right?
I remember Sasha Banks, yeah.
Yeah, exactly,
deal,
right?
Yeah.
But we're casual fans, there's a good chance Toni Storm and Mariah May come out and they, might kind of know of them a little bit, but not nearly as in-depth as they should.
I mean, hopefully they pay attention and stick around for the story, because sometimes there's been times, back in the day, going into a WCW pay-per-view when they still existed, so we're going way back.
Sure.
There were wrestlers I had no idea who they were. I didn't know their story, and just sitting there watching it, I'm like, oh, I kind of like this person now.
Right.
So it's give them a chance, and if you're a casual fan, I really do think that if you sit there for a few minutes while they run it back and they do the vignette and the story that led up to this match, it's going to be intriguing.
Yeah, the Toni Storm Mariah May thing is an awesome story with a bunch of background and just layers upon layers
and so
upon
many different
layers.
players involved in it too.
Yes, where Mercedes and Britt is 100% just because you're a big name.
Yeah,
you're a big name,
and I was here first.
Go.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
And Mariah and Toni are going to outshine these two in terms of match of the night in the women's division at All In. It's not even going to be close. So you got winning though.
I want to say Mariah May is going to win this one.
I gotta give it to Mariah.
I think that's the way
May.
you go. Yeah.
Toni Storm is that character, and we've said this. It's a famous thing to say about certain characters. And she's not a heel, which is crazy to say this about her.
Right.
But losing helps her.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because she's gonna go crazy, and we're gonna love it.
Yeah.
And Mariah May deserves this.
Yes.
100%.
Yes.
So, Mariah May goes over here. Let's talk about the tag titles. It's a triple threat tag match. Young Bucks, FTR, The Acclaimed. Are you a fan of these three teams being highlighted on this show in this match?
I don't hate it. It's not the match. I like the teams involved. I'm so on the Bucks, but I like their whole heel EVP thing. It works for what it is.
Yeah.
Not really the match that I'm dying to watch in this whole card.
Sure.
But I am interested with this kind of new space they've put the Acclaimed in, and I kind of want to see how they're going to play that off. If they're going to, if they come out victorious in this, or what happens.
I would love to see the Acclaimed a little more serious, right?
Yeah.
Which we've kind of seen.
Yeah, I feel like that's kind of the direction they're trying to move.
Right.
Yeah.
I say this for a couple different reasons. Knowing what the tag team division used to be compared to what we have now for AEW, I almost feel like, am I getting punked?
Yeah.
Because for multiple reasons, we've seen the Bucks and FTR way too much.
Way too many times.
Right?
Yeah.
And it feels like the three tag teams, the only three legitimate tag teams in AEW right now, which is insane to say because their tag team division used to be loaded.
Right.
Almost to a fault. And now this feels like the only three teams worth anything in terms of the tag team division. And it's also 3 teams that people are. That's why I say, are we getting punked? I don't think anyone wants any of these 3 to win.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's not. It's a match. You're like, it's fine. I'm not excited for this. I really don't.
People have been sick of the Bucks. Plus, they're the heels.
Yeah.
People are sick of FTR. Right. There's a lot of fans that are like, okay, they're kind of gone stale.
Yeah.
They haven't done anything new. And I'm sorry, the Acclaimed they're not it. They're not as over.
A minute. They were it for a minute. They got over pretty good, but it's just. I feel like they had their moment, and now they're trying to pivot to do something else, and it's like, I don't really know.
They got hot, right?
Yeah.
And here's the thing. You get hot, you have your steam going, and when that steam starts to go away, you need to adjust, even if it's slightly. And they haven't.
Well, because you end up becoming kind of a caricature of yourself. It's just like, okay, we know the trademark, the scissor me, this and that. We got it. But at some point, it becomes kind of a novelty act. Right. And it's like, oh, you guys are still doing that.
Yep. Yeah, well, that's yeah. Billy Gunn's still there.
Yeah, Billy Gunn's still here, still telling people to suck it. I mean, we got it. Yep. You know, New Age Outlaws, 1998.
Guys are doing great. Keep it up.
Keep it up.
Who you got winning then?
Just for the sake of something different, I guess. Let's just say the Acclaimed.
If I said MJF and Will Ospreay is a lose-lose in terms of like, booking, this is a lose-lose-lose.
It doesn't matter. It's just someone has to win.
Is the match over yet?
Yeah.
Keep it with the Young Bucks. In a situation like this where it's like, okay, this is in my brain a lose-lose-lose. Don't do a title change because you're going to try to give FTR a moment that no one's going to care about. You're going to try to give the Acclaimed a moment that no one's going to care about. I'd rather the heels just win so we can boo them, like boo this story out of the building.
Can we just put the Okada match in this spot?
Which is crazy that
right?
Okada and Claudio's not at All In.
I'm like, can we just substitute this match?
I am kind of proud of Tony Khan in that though. Just because of the amount of times that we've talked about the length of pay-per-views, and we'll see how long this one goes, but the amount of matches and
we got to get 15 on there.
Right. Yeah. Why not have a big Dynamite right before All In and put a couple of your title matches on there rather than like shoving everything into one show?
I agree.
So the idea, I'm with it. I would have been completely okay if they would have put this triple threat on Dynamite.
Make it your main event of Dynamite, whatever. I don't care.
I mean, their Dynamite's in Cardiff, Wales, right? Which is their first international Dynamite. So, yeah, make this your main event of Dynamite and I would have rather Claudio and Okada. I'm with that.
So, who do you got winning?
I got Young Bucks. Okay. Keep it with the Young Bucks. Again, like, it's in a lose-lose-lose, I'd rather just boo the heels. Yeah. Rather than you trying to, like...
Keep it with the people that I like booing that I can't stand.
Right, because otherwise I'm going to boo someone that you're expecting me to feel good for, and I'm really not going to. Trios division got interesting. Yeah. We have a 4-team London ladder match. Christopher Daniels announced this on Collision.
Little Pierce.
Yeah, Little Pierce, the Patriarchy, House of Black, the Bang Bang Gang, which, by the way, they're just calling them that, right? Bullet Club Gold.
Bang Bang Gang. Yeah. We're not. Don't worry, JR. They're not gold anymore. It's okay. There's no color involved here.
JR was like, thank God. Finally.
Thank God.
Sassafras. And there's a 4th team that's going to be decided on Collision, literally on TV the night before. Yeah. How do you feel about this turn of events for this story?
Well, there's a lot of speculation out there on who that could be. There's some people that are no longer employed by that company in Connecticut that might just decide to show up.
Who do you got?
Ricochet. Ricochet.
Ricochet.
Ricochet. I don't know, man. So Benjamin might show up, might make another run.
Do a whole trios?
It could be the Hurt Business all over again under a different name.
A different Hurt Business with Lashley?
It could be.
But here's my thing against that. They'd be making their debut on Collision, not All In.
That's true. You don't want to just...
Because there's a qualifying match on Collision.
We would say you don't want to give away the big stuff on TV.
That's true.
But...
I hear you. And it's in Cardiff.
Yeah.
Right? So it's going to be a big Collision. Yeah. But at the same time,
it's Collision.
It's Collision, right? Like this.
It's not Rampage, but it's Collision.
This would make sense if we were doing a Hardy Boys WrestleMania moment, right?
Yes.
That ladder match. Who's the final team? New
Huge
Day's
moment.
Out.
Yeah. Crowd's gonna go nuts.
Right?
Yeah.
I don't know that they do that on Collision. I have no idea who they're gonna put in here.
I don't either. That's where my mind goes instantly to them, and I'm just like, because I really can't think of who else.
And here's my thing. I'm very bothered by that because this story has been awesome, right? Yeah. Like Christian, obviously everything he does in AEW,
it's golden.
It's gold,
Yeah.
right? But this whole story with the whole trios and him being a special ref, everything. Why are we adding a fourth team to it?
Yeah.
Why are we adding ladders to it? This literally went from one of the best stories on AEW, specifically Collision, because that show needs it, to the most overbooked thing on the show.
Yeah, it's a little bit, too much seasoning in the pot, man.
Yes.
And so when you start saying, okay, well, now we're going to add another team. Now we're going to add some ladders. Now are we going to have a triple-decker cage too?
Yeah.
We might as well do that.
Hey, keep in mind, this is, and I'm even thinking
Hold on,
like,
and I'm sure watching it, I'm going to enjoy the match.
I don't know if I'm going to.
Well, I think I might. And I know I'm over here saying they're overbooking it. You're putting too much of it. I'm probably going to like it.
I'm even thinking the logistics of this.
Okay.
Because you are talking about 12 people.
That's going to be a clusterfuck, too.
In terms of
with ladders
and then if there's any managers or anybody, and then a bunch of ladders. That's a lot going on.
Yeah.
I have faith in the wrestlers
it
who
is
are
a lot
involved.
going on, but I think that just wait and see. We'll see how it goes.
The only thing that
we will discuss afterwards.
The only thing that's keeping my faith alive in this match is who is in this match.
Yeah.
Because all three trios, they are awesome.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So I have faith that whatever whoever, I don't know who the fourth team is yet, but I have faith that they're going to make this work the best they can. But I'm just thinking the logistics. I mean, a Money in the Bank ladder match is only 6 to 8 people, and that gets crowded with ladders,
it does.
right?
But it's
12
also
people.
booked in those situations. They book it really well to where everybody gets their shit in, like they hit their spot.
Right.
In this, though, in a trios match with 4 teams.
Plus, you need room for the refs.
Yeah.
Because in AEW, they do that thing where the refs like hold the ladder. I'm like, please stop doing that.
Don't like
they
that.
hold the ladder as if it's like your 6-year-old going up to get something. Okay, don't fall.
Hold the ladder while I go up here.
Yeah, right. That's what it feels like. I'm like, okay, I'm all for safety, but come on, like, so.
Just tell the ref, why don't you get up there? I'll give you $20. You get up there and grab that for me. Right?
Take care of that for me.
If only Chelsea Green had that ref, can you go up there for me and get that?
She would have done that too. Without knowing the fourth team, and you could just say fourth team if you think.
Fourth, yeah.
But who do you got winning this match?
Patriarchy. Because I'm such a mark for them. Either them or the Bang Bang Gang.
I would give it to. Oh man,
you're a House of Black guy though.
I'm a House of Black guy.
Yeah, I know.
I'm a House of Black guy. And
I can't fault you for that.
I want them to get their shine, yes, but also the Patriarchy story. I'm ready for. I'm not saying for it to be over, but I'm ready for the next step. And that next step is. Okay, when do Killswitch and or Nick Wayne start looking at Christian Cage funny, right? And I think that starts when they lose. They've been teasing the Christian Killswitch, whole that's been going on forever.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying it's bad.
No.
But I think I'm ready if they lose this match.
There's still a lot for they could switch on you and it could be actually Nick Wayne that, you know. But no, to your point, there's more levels to be had in that group. I'm just a fan, and I would love for them to keep that for a little while longer.
I will go House of Black then in that one. Coffin match, TNT title, Jack Perry, Darby Allin. New look TNT title, by the way.
Yeah.
Debuting that on Collision. That title seems to change looks as much as Big Show went from babyface to heel.
That is a lot.
That's a lot?
Yeah. This match.
You like the stipulation?
I have my concerns.
Okay.
I have my concerns.
And concerns in what way?
That they're going to do some dumb shit.
Yeah.
Like a glass coffin or something stupid like that.
It's Darby, and it feels like Darby, and I'm saying this, yes, it's entertaining, but almost like worried way.
Yes, thank you. That's exactly what I'm trying to get at.
He's getting crazier, which we didn't think was possible. Because at first when we looked at Darby, we thought of a Jeff Hardy, we thought of ECW and such, and we're like, okay.
I think at this point, though, he's doing stuff where Jeff Hardy be like, dude.
Yes. Right, and that's the scary
wild.
part.
Like, chill out.
And then
you're gonna hurt yourself.
The other thing that confirms those concerns, it's like, okay, think about what Jack Perry and Darby Allin have already done.
Yes.
Right? Like, we've already had Jack Perry set on fire.
Yeah.
Threatened to be set on fire.
I legit believe he probably would have done it.
And he probably would have done it.
Just said,
while
let's
he was
do it.
handcuffed, by the way.
Yeah.
Garage door shut on Darby.
Yeah.
All that stuff. Like,
shout out to Darby's promo though.
Darby's promo was awesome.
That was fire.
That Dynamite, all those video packages, right? Mariah May and Toni, Danielson's, whole video, Darby's package, like, great way to set up All In.
Yeah.
Loved it. Yes, this is a little scary. Okay, it's all in.
I just feel like it's a big event. It's a big time match. I feel like we're going to be talking about this next week and being, or after the fact, and being like, why did they have to do that? Why do you put yourself? And it just, I'm telling you, there's going to be something crazy. Where it's like it's real glass, like
it's a big show, but it's a big anniversary for Jack Perry. Also, All In, Real Glass, Crimea River.
Yeah.
They do. It's the same venue. It's the same show.
I would caution against it, but again, we're talking about Jack Perry and we're talking about Darby Allin.
Yes.
And again, it's the car wreck that is going to happen, but you really can't help but you got to watch it.
And listen, if you keep doing these car wrecks with Darby Allin. And I'm saying this in a very cautious, I don't want this to happen way. At some point, it's going to go left on you.
Yeah.
Right? Because you're only getting crazier. And so far, you've gotten lucky.
Not only that, but the fans are like right there.
And the fans are right there, right?
Yeah.
You're looking at that glass spot in Sting's final match, and that glass went right up into the fans, right? Fire, glass, all this crazy shit where it's like at high jumps, all that stuff. Darby was at the press conference for All in Texas, and they made the joke. He's already looking at stuff to jump off of. It's like, it's great, but at some point, this is going to go left on you.
You have to reel that in. I mean, even he who shall not be named had to reel in McFoley.
Yeah.
And obviously the ECW rebranding was not what people wanted ECW to be at that point. But it's because you have zero longevity doing a match like that multiple times a year. You can't do that.
Right.
You have to reel it in and just pick your spots.
Yeah, no. So, coffin match, does that kind of guarantee Darby's winning in your eyes? He won a coffin match on All In
Not to
last
me.
year?
I don't know.
You got Jack Perry winning
I got
here?
Jack Perry winning this.
I think that makes a lot of sense, and that's where it's like, how does he get him in the coffin? Right?
But that's the
scary part.
That's the scary part, but it's also the intriguing, fun part of I know this is probably going to be bad, but I want to look.
Yeah.
I want to see what's going to happen.
That you shouldn't want to look at, but hey, I got to look.
Yeah.
We don't know all the participants in this one. Orange Cassidy, Kyle O'Reilly, Roderick Strong, they're in it because they had a match on Dynamite to determine who's going first. Casino Gauntlet match. Throw a name or two out there that you'd like to see win it. Potentially show up. It seems like the perfect spot. It feels like a Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
It seems like a perfect spot to have some debuts or returns.
Of course, I'm going to go straight to Lashley.
Okay.
Could be the guy.
Lashley went to TNA. That's the one thing I think about.
Yeah.
What names who are recently cut actually made a jump in the past, right? Actually worked for a different company. That's what made me shocked about Adam Copeland, right? Because he was a WWE guy forever.
Yeah.
Even when he was away from wrestling and so on. Bobby Lashley went to TNA. I would not be shocked.
Yeah. I mean, if you're going to have a big surprise debut or, it wouldn't be a return for him because he's never been in AEW, but a debut, he'd be the one I would think of immediately.
That's good.
Again, that could be a spot for Ricochet to show up.
Sure.
Now, would he win it? I don't know, but it could be a spot for him to show up.
Yeah, that's the weird thing is winning it, right? It's for a world title shot.
Yeah. So even if you have a guy like Lashley or Ricochet show up, it's like, so you're immediately going to the title picture if you win this?
Right.
Because now I feel like if you do that, you're restructuring a bunch of storyline that you had set up going.
Yeah, but Lashley Swerve in a world title match. Ooh.
That would be good.
I would take that story. If Ricochet shows up, I don't think he wins.
No, and I'm not really that interested in seeing Swerve and Ricochet.
I think that because the thing that gets us over the fact that Ricochet showed up and lost, at least in this match, or didn't win, right, is the fact that if Will Ospreay does lose, there's Ospreay's next angle.
Yeah.
Right? That's a match everyone wants to see.
That'd be wild.
I would love
what about
that.
Moxley?
Moxley's not bad if I'm staying within AEW.
Yeah.
If he's healthy and able to come back.
I don't know what his health status is as of now.
I would go Jay White if he's healthy and ready to come back.
Actually,
if we're sticking in AEW.
Yeah. Actually, that wouldn't be bad.
I would take Jay White.
Have be like a return, and then he just
Jay White had his title shot with MJF. Jay White gets in the world title picture with Swerve. I would not be mad if he beats Swerve.
No, actually, no, I wouldn't be. But you know what? And that's actually a really good. It's kind of like a safe bet.
Sure.
But one that's exciting enough.
Right.
And to your point, a title match you'd look forward to.
Speaking of title matches, this one's not confirmed yet. Real quick, if Chris Jericho Hook does happen for the FTW title, do you put an end to this learning tree thing and put the title back on Hook?
Can we?
Please.
Can we just do that and move on?
We're assuming it will be. At the time of recording, it's not confirmed.
The man has an eye patch.
Shout out to the eye patch.
Captain Hook.
Yeah. That's good.
I'm gonna call him Captain Hook.
Captain Hook. You know who will call him that? Samoa
It's just
Joe.
Hook. It's just Hook.
That's how he wins. I think Samoa Joe returns.
Captain Hook. He doesn't have a children's show. Just Hook.
Hook of all people on a children's show. Come on. Samoa Joe showing up, returning here. That would help.
That would.
That's a good, good time to do it. Yeah. Again, assuming that match happens.
Can we just say for that, if that match happens, I'm going to go with Hook?
Yeah, I will go Hook on that one. Really quick, one other match. Willow Nightingale, Tomohiro Ishii teaming up against Kris Statlander and Stokely Hathaway. And the point of this match is the winner will be able to choose a stipulation for the Willow Statlander match at All Out. Who you got winning?
Statlander.
Yeah, well, with Stokely?
Yeah, why not?
I would have...
By hook or crook.
Yeah.
Let's keep it interesting.
At first, I was like, okay, I don't need Tomohiro Ishii involved. I don't need this. Just give me these two one-on-one.
Yeah.
But the whole stipulation makes it make sense a little more.
It does. It gives. There's a reason behind it now. Yeah.
It makes sense now. So the stipulation makes me want Willow to go over here. I would love to see Stokely get slammed because I would love to see Kris Statlander go over Willow at All Out.
Ah, okay,
Right.
okay.
So you let Willow choose the
in that
stipulation.
order of operations. I think I would ride with your prediction on that one.
So
yeah.
I'll go for this one. I'll go with Willow Nightingale.
I will
Ishii.
co-sign that. Yes.
Let's get to some really quick WWE headlines before we get out of here. Jacob Fatu, walking boot and all, assaulting Roman Reigns. They laid him out on SmackDown. A lot of people want to see Jacob Fatu and Roman Reigns one-on-one. How soon should we get that match?
I feel like you got to get through with Solo and Roman and some sort of big match stipulation first. But Jacob Fatu honestly is the most interesting member of that group.
Yes.
Like, hands down.
Yeah, he's the face.
And the one that, if you look at everybody there, just poses the biggest threat to Roman.
Yeah. Yeah, and he showed it. I mean, God, walking boot and all, and this dude's laying out.
Dude's like damn near invincible.
Yeah, right? And, the gold's on him right now.
Yeah.
I think a bigger story between Jacob Fatu and Roman Reigns is coming after this whole bloodline thing's over with. Yeah. I really think... So, in terms of that, I'm waiting until after the bloodline. I do think we get a one-on-one match between these two within this story.
Right.
Assuming Bad Blood is maybe Roman and Solo, which would make sense. Assuming we have a War Games match with this story, which also makes sense. I would have Jacob Fatu and Roman headline the final SmackDown before Survivor Series.
I love that idea.
You know what I mean?
You put a stipulation on that?
That could be your...
No holds barred, no DQ.
Yeah, well, they usually have the advantage match, right?
Yeah.
Who gets the advantage? There's your advantage match to headline SmackDown before Survivor Series.
Love the idea.
I would love that. I love the presence of Jacob Fatu. Love that they put gold on him already.
Yeah.
Everything about this... It's funny because Solo Sikoa is, playing the role of the tribal chief, and everyone's like, that guy.
With this dude. No, because Jacob Fatu from like night one has just been the most dominant member of that group, even when he's hurt. So yeah, let's get that match going.
Bash in Berlin, CM Punk has challenged and will face Drew McIntyre in a strap match. Are you good with this stipulation? And also, is this feud worthy of a trilogy? Because it seems like we're on our way to that.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
You love the stipulation?
Well, this is just to this is the appetizer before we get to Hell in a Cell.
Yeah, that's what it feels like.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say
give you a little violence, a little blood, but wait till we get to the big one.
It makes sense with the bracelet.
Yeah.
Right? Like I love that
Did you
they
make
kind
a
of tied
bracelet
it
for
in.
CM Punk and send him one?
That was cute.
That was nice.
Oh, everyone at Fanatics Fest who got on that.
I was touched by that. That was nice.
I left mine at home.
Sweet.
I had it like 98% done and then it broke.
And you saw everybody like, well, now I don't even want to send it because everybody already did. Everybody copied my present.
I misspelled Larry and it was over. Sorry.
You put an I and an E in there. Yeah,
Everyone
I know.
does
It's okay. It's common.
I love the stipulation. Here's why I don't love a trilogy.
Explain yourself.
The story makes sense, right? It is two big stars. The story's awesome, right? This feud has been so good that we forgot about CM Punk and Seth. Let's keep in mind how excited...
We can get there.
I know, but that's a feud for a trilogy. Because the amount of hype around that match, everyone wanted that. Before there was ever a Drew Punk thing, could not believe we were actually going to get it. That's the feud that you hold off for a trilogy. Before there was ever a Drew thing, that's what we wanted. So in a box, yes, this story is important enough and big enough for a feud. But the fact that we have a Seth match with Punk like following this next year or whenever it is, I would have held off on a trilogy for that feud. And the only way I would have done that, don't have them at Bash in Berlin, at least one-on-one, and give us the Hell in a Cell at Bad Blood.
I don't know if that really changes all that, though.
Trilogies are special.
Are you talking about, okay,
right?
They are. And there's been some rivalries that did not deserve one that got one.
Sure.
But for the frame you're proposing here, is that WrestleMania and then afterward?
Yeah, because here's the thing. When you say trilogies, it doesn't need to be 3 straight matches.
No.
One of the most famous trilogies, Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock.
Yeah, and it wasn't
right?
It wasn't
was
month
6
after
years
month
apart.
after. Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
So, but let's keep in mind they also had another match after WrestleMania 15.
Well, yeah.
At that Backlash.
Yeah.
But the whole point is, trilogy or not, I don't love if Punk and Rollins get a trilogy, which I would love to see. I don't love that it's back-to-back with Drew and Punk, right? So we're clearly heading into a 3-match, sequence here with Drew and Punk. Do we not do a 3-match sequence with Punk and Rollins then?
Is the animosity there for more than one match?
Let's keep in mind that it was. This was the hottest story in WWE. Punk's injury and the feud with Drew, and now the injury to Seth has made everybody forget how much animosity and how much fire was underneath this whole Punk Rollins story. This is what no one wanted to see anything else but this match.
No, you're right. You're right.
And we have all forgotten about that because of how good this story's been.
The Drew McIntyre Punk thing is a happy accident.
Yes.
We all just kind of fell into it and we're like, I guess I love this.
Yeah.
But
let's remember how much we loved Punk and Rollins. And when those two are back.
And that's what we all wanted, to the point of like what we're doing now. A lot of people are still doing. Well, next year at WrestleMania, it has to be that match.
Right.
Some people are saying it has to be for a title. I don't think it has to be. But if it was, I'm not going to be mad either. My thing with that, though, is that I don't know, outside of the, this match is a year in the making kind of deal.
Yeah.
You can bring up the past insults, gripes they had in each other, the trash talk, whatever. That can get you to a match. What happens in that match and how that match ends is what defines, do we need another one? Because just saying, well, I still really hate you. Okay, well, that's fine, but we already had our match.
I understand.
The Drew and Punk story, at least there's a lot of elements to it where it's like, okay, I feel like they need to put another one.
I understand that, the circumstances, the injuries have kind of taken the fire out of the Punk Rollins feud a little bit. I just don't want people to forget that.
I don't think anyone's forgot about it.
And that was the thing where it's like, I want to keep seeing these guys going at it.
Yeah.
And I don't believe that one match is going to settle the animosity that is between these two.
Do you have, because I know there's a lot of talk of CM Punk has to win the Rumble. I don't think he has to.
I don't.
But do you have either one of them be responsible for eliminating the other? And that's where you kind of reignite it.
That's probably the route I go.
Yeah.
That's probably the route I go, kind of like a Kurt Angle, Shawn Michaels thing.
Yeah.
Because of the fact that Gunther's
you got to get
world
back
champion.
there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Gunther's a world champion now, and I think this feud is hot enough to not have a title involved.
Absolutely.
Now, Seth just happened to be the world champion last year, so that's why we thought we'd go to that. Now that we've kind of worked our way, the injuries and everything, and now Gunther's champion, I'd rather Gunther face a different winner of the Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
And Punk and Seth kind of set up, or Cody face the winner of the Rumble, and then Punk and Seth set up their match, non-title, in the Royal Rumble match by eliminating one another or robbing each other or whatever it may be. Yeah. No title involved. I just thought that feud deserved a trilogy, and if Punk and Drew's going to get a trilogy, do we go back to back with that?
It might still have one depending on what we see and how they book it going into Mania.
Pat McAfee announced that he's away from Raw for the next few months. They said about January, which is when they moved to Netflix. He's got College Gameday, college football season coming back this weekend, actually, in Ireland. When Pat comes back, you want to just get right back into the announcer role, or would you like to see any form of wrestling? I mean, keep in mind, he did a whole story and feud with Adam Cole in NXT.
Yeah.
He's had a few different matches. Do you want to see any more of that?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know if you want to do something initially big because of the move to Netflix with him. I really don't, personally.
Yeah.
I like him in the role he's in because I think he's super effective.
Yes.
And he's going to be missed for the time that he's away. You're going to feel it. You know what I mean? But so I'm looking forward to him coming back. But I'm not really clamoring to see him get in the ring and have matches and have a whole rivalry and a feud going on.
Yeah, I think that enough time has gone by where it would feel special, right? Since his last match.
If it makes sense.
Right?
Yeah.
Where I'm stuck is after the Royal Rumble. Royal Rumble's in Indy. Makes all the sense in the world for him to be there, for him to be in the match, and actually in the match, not eliminate himself in the match. But post WrestleMania, like, I don't know who.
Yeah.
They kind of had the Wyatt Six haunting them, but I'm like, I need more experienced wrestlers
I don't put
in that story.
Pat against the Wyatt Six.
No, you know what I mean? So, like, outside of that, I don't know where you go with that. A Chad Gable can make him look really good.
Pat McAfee versus Dirty Dom.
That would be really good.
Go. I'm like half serious
about that. I love
that.
No, because I love that because one thing about the Judgment Day story, I'm actually kind of worried about Dom. He's doing great. I love where Dom is.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
I love the story, but here's the thing. When you pair everything off, we want Liv and Rhea to go at it again.
Yeah.
We want Priest and Finn. I know we got our tag match at Bash in Berlin. We want Priest and Finn.
one-on-ones, though. Yeah.
Right? Where does Dominic go from there?
He's gonna fall by the wayside because the story is not. The story is gonna evolve past. He was Rhea's boy, like.
So once the Rhea Liv thing kind of loses steam, and the whole OG Judgment Day versus the new Judgment Day loses steam, Dominic kind of falls by the wayside, right?
Yeah.
Lives in the world title and is the world champion, right? The women's champion. So it's like Dominic doesn't have anyone to pair off with to keep his stature in terms of story and wrestling strong, because being the third wheel in the Liv Rhea thing and the third wheel in the Priest Finn thing is only going to take you so far. You're going to fall in the mix with Carlito and JD at that point.
You end up facing your dad again. No, here, you know what I think? Speaking, because you brought up the Royal Rumble, you have Dom eliminate Pat.
Yeah, I love that.
And I know it's like lazy writing,
Pat
lazy
talks
booking.
a lot of shit
for
about
me
Dom.
to be like, that's the point. It's kind of lazy booking, at least on my part, to be like, well, we'll just have him do it in the Rumble. But the Royal Rumble has been the catalyst for so many great feuds.
Yeah.
There's already an established, like, I talk a lot of trash about him, so why not do it from there?
Two more things real quick. Sonya Deville, new faction we've talked about in the past with Shayna Baszler, Zoe Stark. We have a name. Pure Fusion Collective.
That sounds like a brand new vehicle that Ford just released.
It does. You know what ruined it for me? First off, it is a tongue twister. I'm like, too much. Too many syllables.
PFC? PFC?
Okay, and here's the thing. Michael Cole said PFC, Pat McAfee said KFC, and it was over for me.
Now I'm just hungry and confused.
And now it was over for me. These three are too dangerous for me to be confused by your name or laughing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that just feels like a joke waiting to happen.
Yeah.
And, like, I want to take you guys seriously.
Yeah.
And the Pat threw out KFC, and it was game over for me.
Yes. Because it's like, I don't know, to cheer, to boo.
Yeah. To eat.
To get extra crispy original, and I don't even know what the hell your name is now.
Right. It's
just
like,
beat people up. Just
please.
the three of you just do that. Let's just keep going with that. Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. Before we get out of here, which tag team this happened recently over the weekend. It all happened in one night. 2 tag team title wins in the world of wrestling. Which one is more random to you?
Oh.
Tag team of the year race right here, baby.
Oh, man.
Dustin Rhodes and Sammy Guevara winning the ROH tag titles, or Jinder Mahal and Satnam Singh winning the AAA tag titles?
I didn't even know that happened. That's got to be the most random one.
Shout
the
out to
AAA
them.
titles.
Yeah. Satnam Singh and Jinder Mahal.
Okay, first off, Satnam Singh's still doing, like, he's still
doing something.
Wow.
Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal were there too.
Hey. Moral support.
With Jinder.
That's nice. That's nice.
Random.
That's the most random one.
It is the most random one, but man, I'm looking at this. Sammy Guevara just got back with his little man bun, and all of a sudden he's a tag champion with Dustin Rhodes.
On this show, we're not really. We'll dive into the fashion. That's for the paid viewers.
Come on.
Jump into super chats.
But like, he just came back and said, "I want to earn your respect," and then the next week, he's holding a title with Dustin. Like,
Dustin's just like, what the hell are we doing here? I guess we're tag teaming now.
Like, Sammy Guevara has been so far on the other side of things, so far heel with Jericho, and everyone's hated him. You don't think there was like you needed a little bit of time to have Dustin actually?
Dustin Rhodes sitting there like, we couldn't get Joe Hendry for this.
Yes, like Dustin's like, my character's just gonna trust him off the bat.
He's just calling Cody, like texting him. Can we just do the start of this thing one time,
quick, yes.
please? Just
Are you
part-time?
available real quick? It's
Please?
ROH. It's not AEW. It's ROH. Please.
I'll paint your face myself.
Come on.
Come on, man.
Sammy
We're family.
Sammy Guevara just got back. No time needed to earn respect. No time needed to earn trust. Instantly a tag champion.
I don't know how much respect Sammy Guevara has anymore amongst the wrestling fan base.
He's with the most respected guy in wrestling
we respect
right now.
Dustin.
But that's my thing.
We stand Dustin Runnels. Okay?
Yes. But my thing is like when he was with Jericho, people boo Jericho. So Guevara's by his side. It makes sense.
Yeah.
People love and respect Dustin Rhodes. And you have one of the most hated wrestlers in AEW
Dustin,
right
what are you
now.
hanging out with that geek for?
Yes.
What are you doing to that guy?
That man bun?
Yeah,
man.
get him out of here.
Dude. Roar Around the Ring is available every week. Find us on YouTube at Roar Around the Ring. He's at Dude the Real Daryl Taylor. I'm Justin Valentine. We'll talk to you guys very soon.